Hello everyone and welcome back to my The Young and Restless 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Claire covetousness to crop. Of course, Summer will take advantage of the occasion. Meanwhile, Audra finds herself in a delicate position. Summer to run into Kyle at the coffee house. Of course, she'll tell her ex-husband that Phyllis is okay after the hijacking riddle. Still, Summer might use the fact that the kidnapper is still out there as a way to cleave onto Kyle. Still, that would presumably be the moment that Claire walks in, if Kyle offers his former honey a reassuring clinch. Although Claire has tried to be patient and understanding, the relationship is starting to feel more like a triumvirate. There was a point last week in which Summer crashed Kyle's date to talk about Harrison. There was no real exigency and it could have awaited until the coming morning, or she could have simply transferred a textbook communication. Claire excused herself and let them have some time alone to talk. Still, the agitation in Claire's voice and body language suggests she's getting fed up. So, it's easy to see that Claire is being pushed, and she could explode soon. Victor Newman will put some pressure on Kyle. The primogenitor doesn't want Kyle with Claire at all. It doesn't feel to count that Claire is a grown woman able of making her own opinions. People don't learn anything if they aren't allowed to make miscalculations, so this defensive reason doesn't really fly. In any case, how will Kyle reply to Victor's reality check? Also, Lily Winters will try to get to the verity about Damian Kane's real motives. Across city, Lily Winters will struggle to figure out Damian Kane's. Although Lily seems a bit entranced and intrigued by Damian, she's also wondering if the secrets indicate he's a trouble. The jury is still out on that one, so we shall see. Plus, Holden Novak puts Audra in a delicate position. So far, Audra seems to be suitable to handle Holden. Still, as the days go by, he seems to be getting further pushy. That's concerning, so stay tuned. Sharon and Phyllis, trapped in a clinic basement, took control of their situation in an unanticipated way. Locked up and frustrated, they concentrated their wrathfulness on the surveillance camera in the room. Sharon suggested dismembering it, but Phyllis took effects further, championing for full destruction. The two women wrecked the room, smashing light institutions, tearing open pillows, and trashing cabinetwork. In their rage, they made it clear to their convicts that they wouldn't be fluently broken. Amid the chaos, Sharon apologized for once grievances, but Phyllis brushed it off. Their focus shifted to their escape, and they joked about the asininity of the situation, all while making plans to fight back. As they plotted with their circumstances, a gas leak suddenly filled the room, and Phyllis fought to contain it. With time running out, Nick and Billy were desperately trying to find the women. They arrived at the clinic, only to discover that it had been abandoned for times, raising reservations about the whole situation. Despite pressures with Chance, who defied Nick's suggestion to call in Newman security, they progressed cautiously. Chance ultimately picked the cinch, and the platoon entered the structure, hoping they weren't too late to save Sharon and Phyllis. Nick and Billy rushed to the locked room, breaking down the door and carrying the women to safety. The fate revealed that the hijacking was part of a targeted attack, not an arbitrary event. Sharon and Phyllis had no answers about their prisoner, except that they had been cured and subordinated to some kind of crooked trial. While the men took the women to the estate for safety, they were each left with further questions than answers. Meanwhile, Tracy discovered a cryptic communication on Alan's phone, intimating that commodity indeed more minatory was unfolding. Adam visited the estate to check on Victor's recovery. Victor assured him he'd be boxing again soon. Adam admitted that moving there with Chelsea had been the right decision, serving both him and Connor. Victor was pleased to hear this and respected Adam's parenthood. Adam wanted to make his father proud, and Victor appreciated that further than Adam realized. Chelsea told Chloe she and Adam weren't officially back together but were moving in that direction. Chloe, despite once dubieties, admitted Adam had been good with Connor and believed Chelsea merited happiness. Chelsea was relieved but doubtful if it would last. Adam arrived, and after an awkward moment with Chloe, he and Chelsea bandied their future. They kissed, attesting their growing relationship. Meanwhile, Billy and Nick entered a suspicious textbook linked to an unrestricted medical installation. Against Nick's warnings, Billy clicked it, revealing a videotape feed of Sharon and Phyllis trapped in a clinic basement. They batted whether it was real and soon discovered a cryptic communication. Stewing a trap, they called the police but decided to go ahead anyway. Away, Alan intimately covered Phyllis and Sharon through a videotape feed. Latterly, he proposed to Tracy, who joyfully accepted. They planned a quick marriage while he ignored a security alert on his phone. In the clinic, Phyllis and Sharon plotted to escape. Realizing their prisoner had been entering while they slept, they planned to stay awake and disable the camera to force him out. At Crimson Lights, Jack and Diane celebrated Tracy's happiness, believing she had set up her perfect match. Jack was eager to partake the news with Ashley and Billy. Jack and Diane had lunch with Alan and Tracy at the GCAC, where they respected how great Tracy looked. Alan expressed how important he missed her, recalling how a failed attempt to visit her turned into a trip disaster. Despite their time piecemeal, their passions remained strong. Alan suggested giving up his speaking engagements to spend further time with Tracy. While she loved the idea, she bothered about him immolating such a big part of his life. Jack comforted her that if Alan was offering, it was what he truly wanted. Alan admitted he no way felt lonely in Paris until he met Tracy. Overcome with emotion, he proposed, and Tracy, surprised but overjoyed, said yes. After Alan left to buy a ring, Tracy participated the news with Jack and Diane, still in unbelief at how love had set up her at such an unanticipated time. Meanwhile, at Crimson Lights, Nick and Chance reviewed surveillance footage, narrowing down possible locales for Sharon and Phyllis. While some were upset, Chance comforted her that they would find them. Nick, intolerant with legal procedures, mustered Newman security. Billy soon arrived, revealing he'd entered a cryptic textbook from Phyllis's burner phone, directing them to the now-closed Havenhurst clinic. Concerned it could be a trap, they rushed to partake the lead with Chance and Summer. In the clinic's basement, Phyllis desperately tried to revive Sharon, who had no palpitation. After performing CPR, Sharon heaved back to life. The two suspected about their prisoner's intentions and decided to work together to escape. Away, Alan sat in Chancellor Park with Tracy's ring when his phone telephoned, showing a live videotape feed of Phyllis and Sharon. Kyle and Claire had regale at the GCAC, agitating his parents' argument over the stylish James Bond. Claire admitted she had no way seen a Bond movie or had a martini. As they kissed, Summer arrived, asking to speak with Kyle. He expostulated, but she claimed it was important. Claire understood and walked down. Summer bothered that Harrison would hear about Phyllis's exposure, which could be traumatic given his once hijacking. She claimed they talked to him that night. Kyle didn't see the urgency, but she refused to back down. Apologizing for ruining his evening, she induced him to go upstairs. Claire waited at the bar, where Holden introduced her to matins. They clicked over books and Bond flicks. When Kyle returned, he set up Claire drinking and apologized for leaving. She assured him she wasn't hovered by Summer. Meanwhile, Nick and Victoria bandied Sharon and Phyllis. Nick bothered they were ignoring him, but Victoria comforted him. Daniel arrived, stewing they might no way see Phyllis or Sharon again. Chance also revealed security footage of Phyllis's hijacking and a stolen white van at both crime scenes. Nick believed this was the key to chancing them. In a basement clinic, Phyllis suffered severe pain, and Sharon prompted her to drink a bottle of water she believed contained the cure. Phyllis defied, suspecting Bane, but ultimately drank. The pain worsened before fading, leading Sharon to believe they had passed a test. A voice on the intercom praised Sharon. She questioned whether Phyllis would have saved her in the same situation. Phyllis, bitter, suggested she merited Bane but admitted she wouldn't have let her die. Exhausted, Phyllis fell asleep, holding Sharon's hand in thanks. The voice complimented Sharon, advising her a busy day lay ahead. Realizing escape was doubtful, Sharon screamed in frustration. At the GCAC, Nate asked Audra about Holden, but she claimed it was all Holden's doing. She revealed he was their only link to Damien. Back at the extension, they bandied Amy's strength and hoped Nate's croaker. Friend could help. Audra participated that Holden formerly considered Damien a friend but now sounded resentful. Nate bothered that Lily's disquisition might push Damien to flee, which would hurt Amy. He also revealed that Damien had prevaricated about being a business proprietor. Audra advised Nate against emotional involvement, but he remained hopeful about his half-family. She promised to probe discreetly, though Nate opposed her using Holden. She teased he might be jealous, and they kissed before deciding on pizza. When Holden texted Audra, Nate replied for her, agreeing to be his friend. Meanwhile, in a basement, Phyllis mocked Sharon, criminating her of making a pale list. They argued, with Phyllis refusing to help break their prisoners' mysteries. When Phyllis suddenly doubled over in pain, stewing poisoning, Sharon frenetically searched for the cure. She set up a pronounced water bottle and assumed it was the cure. Away, Nick and Billy suspected Phyllis had been abducted. They batted possible lawbreakers, including Ian Ward, though Nick was certain he was dead. Frustrated, Nick plotted to keep his family together. Ranch security set up no leads, egging Nick to take matters into his own hands.